Hi everyone, my name is Terry Scraggins, pronouns he, they, and this is my role play on mindful breathing and specifically box or square breathing. That was the intervention that I chose to go with, or the skill technique that I chose to go with. Um, I know last semester in our class we talked a lot about mindfulness. We read the book and continue to refer to the mindfulness and social work book. Um, but something specific to myself that I have utilized since I've learned it is square or box breathing. And essentially, square breathing or box breathing is breathing in a like systematic way and focusing on your breath and being mindful of your breath to stop thoughts. Um, and it helps alleviate any sort of like stress or anxiety, and also can help to reduce cortisol levels. I think everyone's familiar with cortisol, but that's essentially the stress hormone. All of the research that I did, both from the National Library on Medicine, or sorry, National Library of Medicine, Medical News Today, our textbook, and additional research that I did, just pretty much all highlighted and focused on how important and how our breathing affects our ability to think, our ability to focus, our ability to sift through and kind of navigate any sort of stressors that we may be experiencing. So, lots of evidence to support in terms of like clinical issues that this could be appropriate for. Really, like anything, you could use it in CBT. You could use it in solutions focused therapy. You could use it just if you're feeling escalated or you're feeling triggered. Individuals with PTSD, bipolar, things like that. So there really isn't anything that square or box breathing or any sort of mindfulness in breathing and a technique couldn't potentially be a benefit for. Yes, it can be used both with children and adults. There was one specific article that I read that talked about using square or box breathing with adolescents, younger children, and it actually said that that was the only instance where it maybe didn't, the benefits didn't outweigh the negatives, and it was primarily around the actual task or the exercise. So I still, after reading that article, I still think that it could be beneficial for children. But I think it probably would be more beneficial for like adolescents or early teens and adults. In terms of when this mindfulness intervention could be used, really anything. I feel like I'm saying this over and over again, but really like anything. People that are irritable or having a stressful day, people that want to be prepared before they go into a meeting with their boss or with a client. Even if you're working in therapy and you're a therapist, even utilizing it with your client, which I think primarily in this sense is kind of what I'm getting at or thinking of. Um, and yes, I think definitely this could be utilized if there's like a crisis unfolding. I think that it most typically would probably be beneficial to like have it planned out and utilize it throughout the day. A lot of the research that I've done and some of the workshops that I've taken on mindful breathing and square breathing have talked about the importance of your brain is like a muscle, in that the more you do mindful breathing or the more you do box or square breathing, the easier it is. And research shows that repetition actually increases your ability to return to like a more clear focused state of mind and thinking, primarily because it's forcing you to pay attention to your breath and your body, rather than focusing on like ruminations or thoughts in your head based and related in stress. Definitely, whenever possible, doing it in a quiet area, a place where you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing it. Even for myself, as someone that lives and commutes to work every day, I even use it while I'm driving. Like, obviously, I keep my eyes closed or my eyes open when I'm driving, but if I feel stressed out during rush hours, sometimes I'll even practice square breathing while I'm on my way to work to help alleviate anxiety and stress of driving because people are wild drivers these days. So, um, and kind of going off of that as well, I would likely, in terms of getting a client or getting y'all, I didn't have an individual that I'm going to be role playing with, so I'm going to go through an example as if y'all are the client. But in terms of like when or how could I sell this to a client, really, to me, I think about how I'm using it and how it's helped and benefited me. And so if I'm able to build rapport with a client and able to like self disclose and it's appropriate, that might be one way that I may get buy in from a client to utilize or try square box breathing. In addition, I think too, just that the psychoeducation piece around how breathing and being mindful of your breath can have positive benefits and outcomes in terms of stressors and cortisol. So, the science piece, why scientifically mindfulness and breathing is important, and how that shows through research, and then also through my own personal experience. Um, the next piece is the demonstration. Um, and for this exercise, I just want everyone to take a second and like stand up, kind of move, get your body going, like loosen up a little bit, and then sit back down. Um, but be mindful of like how you're sitting. Uh, Typically, when you do this exercise, if you're able to and it's safe, kind of just like laying your head back a little bit, putting your body in a more like open position rather than like closed off, such as like arms crossed, legs crossed. Just try to be like sitting in a comfortable way. And if that's comfortable to you to do this, that's okay too. But for me, being the most comfortable position is just to kind of be like, kind of lean back with my eyes closed. And so for square breathing, before we actually do it, I have just a couple more minutes, but before we actually do it, the whole point of it is to envision like a square or a box in your brain. If you close your eyes, if you're comfortable, and you're going to breathe in and count to 4, you're going to hold that count for 4. You're going to exhale for a count of 4 and then hold again for a count of 4. Typically people will, a lot of the research and my own personal like experience, people will do this for anywhere from a minute to like 10 minutes or until they feel like a sense of serenity or that they feel more calm than they were initially when they started the exercise. So I have about a minute left. Let's go ahead and give this a go. So leaning back, kind of being mindful of how you're sitting, your feet placement, closing your eyes. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. I'm not going to count it every time, but I'm going to do it a couple more times. and when my dog isn't barking and stressing me out. But yeah, so I'm not going to do it for a length of time. It's pretty straightforward. Feel free to review your handout. That has some good information. And also, you can even YouTube various breathing exercises. I know that our text talks a lot about being mindful and breathing and how that kind of resets. It can reset your brain. And I think that this is a technique that really anyone can use. And even just doing it 3 times, I already feel like more calm. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope to get some good feedback from y'all. And thank you so much for watching.